Well, hello, everyone. My name is Holland Bolden here, and I am a part of the Indy Black Millennials. I serve as a director of partnerships, and we are happy to have a special guest here with us today as we celebrate not only some Indianapolis talent, but some Black history in Indianapolis. So without further ado, I would like for our special guest to go ahead and introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Alan Bacon. Lifer here in Indianapolis. Went to Pike High School and Northwest. Graduated from Pike in '99. Went to IU. Came out in 2003. Worked over 12 years in the education sector. I was campus president at Harrison College. Did a lot of traveling back and to and from Johannesburg, South Africa, working for an IT consulting firm right after that. And then most recently left the position at United Way as I led the social innovation strategy for that organization. But currently I am the co-founder of GANGGANG, which is a cultural development firm.
Awesome. Okay, so it sounds like we have a lot to unpack here because if anybody has been a part or has social media, they have heard your name. Okay, let's just be honest. But you said you're a co-founder, so let's start there. So who else is involved in GANGGANG culture?
So it's myself and my partner in crime and life partner, Molly Jeffers, who's had a very expansive and in-depth career within just the creative arts industry, and just has really made a name for herself with her ability to get local artist opportunities here in the city and just kind of grow our cultural assets.
Awesome. So a partnership built on creativeness and just all the things. So we love that. So tell us specifically, we have this unique name, GANGGANG Culture. And I know you've been getting the question of how did you guys decide to pick this name and what does it mean? So break it down for us so we understand.
Yeah, I mean, so the original, meaning of gang was a way forward, or a group of people moving in the same direction. Not until just recent history that we see the term arise as a way to criminalize Black men. So I think that from our focus and standpoint, we're going to change the meaning back, and we're going to shed a new light on how just people in general feel about the word, but also, I mean, just the double entendre as an ode to hip hop culture there as well. And plus, it looks really, really cool when you write it down on paper. And and the logo is hard, and that was one of the impetuses for us to go with GANGGANG. But it's really just understand just the origin of the word and kind of where we're headed, not just as a people of color, but a people of culture, and just how we can start to in this moment turn back some of the systemic things that have bounded us for a long time. And just some of that is just vernacular and language.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that speaks to a little bit of courage, to take a powerful word, a word that has had such a negative connotation, and really lean into how you can create some boldness and some energy around it. So you have, it seems like, two aspects to this GANGGANG culture. You have the music aspect, and you have kind of the arts and culture. So can you tell us what you're doing in the city around the two?
Yeah, so I think what we're trying to do as with GANGGANG is to produce, promote, and preserve culture in cities, and that looks different in some way, shapes, or form. But our overall opportunity that we have in front of us is really to put our creators on a different stage. And we're looking at promoting, producing, and preserving culture in two specific ways as it relates to the creative economy. One is investing directly into creative entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs that are doing things and just increasing the cultural assets and just have businesses and ideas that relate to art and culture. We want to have a better mechanism for those entities to receive funding and to grow. Which one helps our city absolutely, and helps individuals as entrepreneurs of color. And then two, we'll do more cool stuff like the Indy Black Lives Matter mural, and just those cool public art pieces that, once again, does so much for culture, whether that's amplifying, messages of oppression or just giving voice in Black space for our culture to be able to be celebrated in ways that are art related. So there's a lot of different ways that, we'll tackle, those outcomes and goals. And just one specific thing that we're really excited about that's coming up is Drip, which is going to be an exhibition on the Black Lives Matter mural featured in Newfield. So just having, Black representation in a fine art institution isn't a everyday common thing. But to have 18 Black artists being able to feature the work that they've created in Newfields, in that level institution, is something that we're really excited about, proud about, and just can't wait for that exhibition to be open to the public. With that, it launches in April 16th to be exact, and just excited about that opportunity. But it's doing more things along those specific entities and ventures that really highlight and promote culture, but through a creative lens.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm glad that you noted the new fields, which I think was released publicly over the last week. That announcement came out. And once again, with it being Black History Month, there's two things that you called out. I mean, you were an artist on the Indy Black or Black Lives Matter mural downtown. Is that correct?
No, I was just one of the organizers. So
you were the part of the organizers. Okay.
Yeah, so the main four organizers were, Stacia Murphy, Molly Jeffers, and two individuals from Indy 10 Black Lives Matter was actually, very instrumental in that process. The organizer. I wish I can paint and do those things, but I'm a performing artist, and just thinking about just the history of Black art and music as it relates to our experience in America. I mean, music and art has always played a very pivotal role in our country and just in our way to express ourselves. I mean, whether that's from Negro spirituals during times of slavery to Marvin Gaye and Curtis Mayfield in the 1960s, with their music as a medium to help promote and amplify the message of racial oppression to what we see in what we saw in 2020, where you have like visual art on the main stage. We have a lot of murals and just those types of things that, we have always leaned in on art as a way to translate oppression, as a way to amplify message, and also as a way to celebrate culture. So that's kind of, the art connection and it's the reason why we think just, focusing on the creative economy and art from, GANGGANG's lens and purposes is really critical and important, especially in this moment.
Yeah. And I love how you touched on how music and art have been a part of the Black culture, the community for generations. And it's speaking to our history, it speaks to our rhythm, it speaks to our blues, but it also is a form of unity and uniting. And if I think about, some of the areas that you mentioned, so you have Indiana Avenue where people can unite, whether that be Madam C.J. Walker Theater, but then also you have Newfields. Is there any other place in the city, that you would like to highlight as an area where people can get into the music and art culture and hear more about what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that's one of the things is building a infrastructure within the city where we can have a lot more of that. But I mean, you have places and venues like Epic that that host different different talent and showcases, and you have cultural assets like the Nap or Nothing brand that's located currently in Lafayette Square Mall. You have the Indy Fashion Week, and just there's so many different organizations that are doing a lot to promote culture and music and the arts. GANGGANG is just one of those. I think Cafe Creative is another one under the Kepper model and institute. So I think there's a lot of places that you can find art. From an institutional lens, I think some of these places have maybe been suppressed and not as necessarily as prominent as far as kind of like where to go. but that's something we're trying to change as well. So we're trying to make sure that people know where to go for, live music, and you can follow, Gang Gang Culture on Instagram and some other, social media networks to kind of, figure out and find out like what's next in the world of art. But yeah, we mentioned, Drip. If art is your thing, Indiana Fashion Week just had a major announcement as well, and just other groups like Be Nimble, and just your group specifically, too, with Indie Black Millennials and Juneteenth Social. So I think just the best way to really understand what's going on is really to connect with these groups on social media, and just you can kind of really get a good breadth and expansive, outlet as far as like what's going on in the city.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of connections, I mean, as we're thinking about how you and Molly have been connected and in the area of art and culture and music, can you kind of speak to where your interest and passion came from in getting involved, right? So you kind of went down your resume of what you were doing before Gang Gang Culture. You were in I will say the corporate world working, and I heard about you in different avenues and doing gigs in the evenings and things like that. So how did this become a passion of yours, and why did you decide to leap into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think just some of that stuff just being crazy, leaving in but I think, for us, it's finding that intersection between like your profession and your passion. So, Molly has done, so much within the creative space, the creative economy, putting artists on. I've been a performing artist, for a long time in the city, and but we've always have found ourselves gravitating towards the corporate, structure when it comes to profession, and we want to build Indianapolis to the place that we can retain and attract our talent, but especially our creative talent. So like, what does that look like? So right now, this moment, we're cashing in all of our social capital. And just the momentum of this moment, just to make something happen for Indy, where we can be more of a cultivation spot and incubator for great talent, and just continue just to retain those creators as well. But just making the jump was it was something that we felt compelled to do in that moment, and just understanding that this is what Indy needs from us the most. And I think a lot of our career trajectory has allowed us this moment to come to fruition as it is today, just being able to just maximize and leverage those networking opportunities, and just the businesses and individuals that we've been around for so long to do something a little bit broader and bigger for culture.
Okay. And I mean, so many people have been asking us, how can they get involved? We want to see you all succeed. We are here. We are champions. So what can we do to help Gang Gang Culture succeed?
Yeah, the best thing that anyone can do for Gang Gang Culture is to support local artists and creatives. And that's what we're all about. So when it comes to, buying clothes or fashion, or listening to music, or eating out food, just having like your lots of restaurants that you just go to, like just implementing more Black owned persons of color that are driving creativity, which we're the main producers of creative culture in America. We've driven how America views itself. So I think just, and this is a way that we feel is almost reparationally like giving back to the creative economy, which has done so much to produce for so many other people and entities, but aren't the main benefactors of what they produce. So if you want to help Gang Gang, one, absolutely follow us at Gang Gang Culture and all the social media networks, but at the same time support your local Black creatives and artists.
Yeah, that's great. And just for everyone that's listening, we will make sure that we tag Gang Gang Culture in all their social media so people can follow. And I think my last question is I close is, we want to have we want to create allies in the community. And I think if someone, let's just be honest, if someone saw Gang Gang Culture that may not be of a Black and brown descent in the community, they may not understand, they may not know what their role and what they can play. So you've also, you've stated supporting Black businesses is a way you can do that. But what would you say to those that are still in this space of trying to understand what it means to be an ally to the Black and brown community and culture and within gang culture?
Yeah, I think just ultimately, just the answer to that question is just, being open to learn. And I think just one of the modalities that, we're able to translate, messages more seamlessly and just more connectively is through culture and through art. So when it comes to, other individuals that are outside of, just the Black community or just not a person of color, or even a person of color that wants to learn about another, the demographic, and just the best way to do that is through culture, is through art, is through experiencing food, is through, experiencing and sharing stories and music and just, visual art. So, I mean, those are the things that, we would promote from, Gang's lens and perspective to help add more of a human connective tissue versus kind of, everything 2020 has been about what separates us and just understand, kind of, in this moment, I think we need to really focus on what brings us together more. And that's, the Black community and the overall community and all people of culture.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, so Gang Culture is here to connect, elevate, and lean into the Black culture, art, and music. And so we are so happy that you were able to give us a little bit of your time. We know you've been super busy, but we also want to be able to share more as you guys continue your journey. So what we're going to do is after we complete this interview, we're going to make sure that you have access to some music. And is there a specific group that maybe we can hear or that we're going to be listening to, Alan?
I think one of my favorite groups locally right now is Native Son. So I think if we can have a clip shown of one of their recent performances called "Legalize Being Black" is their recent album cover and name. So just like another taste into indie hip hop culture and which is I think can rival any major city in America as far as the talent that we have here in Indianapolis. So check out Native Son and here's a song.
All right, folks. Thank you all for joining, and be sure to follow Indy Black Millennials on all our social platforms. We have a couple events coming up that you can check out. A volunteer event. We're going to be highlighting other Black businesses this month. But thank you for your time, Alan. Thank you, and thank Molly. And we will enjoy some tunes.
Let's go.
We wanted to do this. Number one, we love working with Indy Jazz Fest. It's always a blast, and they always put on great events. But also, we're in a pretty crazy time in the world. It's even funny that we're doing this interview today on Election Day. For a lot of people of color and Black folks specifically, there's been a lot of turmoil that's been building, not just this year, but in decades, centuries past. And for us, it's not enough just to be artists. I think that we have to speak out in these sort of times. So doing something that's called Legalize Being Black and also having an album that's called Never Be King, it shows that it's near and dear to our hearts in terms of like what's going on. And it's just the feeling that, if you are a person, of color, you're in a different sort of situation than everybody else. And we feel that, and we never want to shy away from that. And so I think America itself has done a better job of embracing, Black music, Black fashion, the way in which people of color speak, but not necessarily Black people. And so I think Legalize Being Black is just our way of saying, hey, don't just love the art or what we put out, but love us. And this is just our expression and the way we wanted to, share it with the world.
own type struggles. I got my own life troubles, plus my own problems in my head. I wonder how I've been blessed that I ended up dead. And I'm just laying the ground rules and stating the basics. My dream deferred, instead I chase it. My vision is blurred, I guess I'm headed for LASIK, but my hindsight perfect. Wish I could embrace it, could've lost it all in the blink of an eye. Up all night partying, but hell yeah, I can drive. The bags told me to chill, I just got a new ride. I put my 97 Chevy thinking damn I'm fly, yeah. But man, I'm tired, and man, these tides go off real quick. Headed right for the pole, I can't believe I missed and only had one scratch face down in the disc. Cause yeah. Let's get it going, yeah. Let's keep it going, yeah. I only had one scratch face down in the disc. Cause yeah. I'm supposed to be here, right now, right here. Well, everybody in the house know, yeah. I'm supposed to be, you supposed to be. We supposed to be 10 years old without a care in the world. I used to love comic books and write letters to girls who would call me at my auntie house. Mama didn't play. Older cousins with my brothers, they would tell me what to say. Slicker than I should have been at a young age. So that's just California for you, man. You gotta learn the ways, gotta learn the colors, reds and blues. And if they ask you what said, you could choose or lose. But on one day I was doing my homework, sat in the kitchen, right by the window. I used to let her breeze, I could see what my friends told. My mom called, auntie said, go on home. So I walked to the crib, but it wouldn't be long before the shots ring out. Hit the window in the kitchen, I ain't been in 10 minutes before. Was the right drive-by, but the wrong drive. To this day I can't believe yeah. Let's get it going, hey. Let's keep it going, hey. I can't believe yeah. I'm supposed to be here, right now, right here. Well, everybody in the house know, yeah. I'm supposed to be. You supposed to be, we supposed to be, yeah. I'm supposed to be here, right now, right here. Well, everybody in the house know, yeah. I'm supposed to be, you supposed to be. We supposed to be on stage now with a light in the mic, never feeling constricted. Boy, I write what I like, cause I was given a platform, afforded a voice of all holy than now, never distorted the choice. I do this for the people so my crew can bang. Stay clear or that black bull Lou all day. It's easy to speak on, but it's hard to retain. I got nothing to lose but the world to gain. Come on, listen, I don't ever worry what I'm missing. I'm living this like bully in the here and the now. Every time that you see me, you be seeing me smile. Cause I break records every sentence that I run on. Heavy with the wordplay, I put another ton on. You know you're doing something when you're good enough to front on. More than doing something, doing that which I was some on. The last win or lose, you ain't gotta pull a stunt on now. Let's get it going, hey. Let's keep it going, hey. Let's get it going, hey. Straight up. Let's get it going out. Let's keep it going, hey. I'll be the last one to lose, you ain't gotta pull a stunt on now. Yeah. I'm supposed to be here, right now, right here. Well, everybody in the house know, I'm supposed to be. You supposed to be. We supposed to be. Yeah. I'm supposed to be here, right now, right here. Well, everybody in the house know. Straight up. I'm supposed to be. You supposed to be. We supposed to be.